you need to understand something before this day passes, because what is unfolding right now is not an ordinary new moon. And it is definitely not one of those fleeting astrological moments people casually scroll past without realizing their entire direction could have changed if they had paid attention. What arrives on May 16th, 2026, at exactly 4 in the afternoon carries the weight of a financial turning point that has been forming beneath the surface for nearly 7 years. And the unsettling part is that most people still think this energy is only about writing wishes in a journal and waiting for miracles to fall from the sky. That misunderstanding is exactly why so many people remain trapped in the same cycles of scarcity, frustration, and emotional exhaustion year after year. This Taurus New Moon is opening a rare energetic gateway connected to money, security, material stability, and long-term wealth creation. But this opening is not permanent. There is a specific energetic window surrounding this alignment, and if you drift through it unconsciously, distracted by fear, routine, or doubt, the momentum available now can move past you before you even recognize what was possible. Something enormous has shifted in the cosmic structure itself. For the last 7 years, Uranus has been moving through Taurus like a storm tearing through foundations people believed were permanent. Financial systems became unstable. Entire industries transformed overnight. Personal income paths collapsed without warning. Even your own relationship with money may have felt unpredictable, fragile, or impossible to control. Many people spent those years feeling as if every attempt to create stability was immediately interrupted by another shockwave. Just when you thought you had finally found solid ground, life changed again. Jobs disappeared. Costs rose. Plans unraveled. Security became an illusion. Uranus in Taurus forced humanity to confront how unstable old systems truly were, and whether people realized it consciously or not, the nervous system absorbed that fear deeply. You may have noticed yourself becoming hypervigilant around finances, overthinking every decision, fearing loss before it even happened, or feeling emotionally exhausted from constantly trying to adapt to instability. That was not weakness. That was survival mode, slowly becoming your normal state. But now the atmosphere is changing. Only days ago, Uranus crossed into Gemini, and with that movement, the constant shaking underneath Taurus energy finally began to calm. The ground that has been violently shifting for 7 years is beginning to settle, and spiritually, emotionally, and financially, that changes everything. This is why astrologers are calling this a wealth reset, because the energetic terrain connected to money is no longer collapsing beneath your feet every time you try to build something meaningful. Imagine planting seeds during a violent earthquake. No matter how carefully you planted them, no matter how much effort you gave, the soil itself could not support lasting growth. That is what these last 7 years have felt like for so many people trying to manifest abundance. The earth kept cracking open underneath them. But now the storm has moved on. The soil has been turned, broken apart, cleared of dead roots and stagnant energy, and what remains is fertile ground, prepared for an entirely new cycle of growth. That is why this new moon matters so much. The intentions formed now are not being placed into exhausted energy. They are being planted into stabilized ground that has been preparing for this exact moment since Uranus first entered Taurus years ago. And deep down, part of you already senses this shift happening. That is why some of you have been feeling restless lately, emotionally alert, unable to fully relax, almost as if your spirit knows something important is approaching before your logical mind catches up. You may even feel pressure building in your throat, as though words are trapped inside you waiting to be spoken. There is a reason for that sensation, and it is directly connected to the energetic transition taking place now. Your body is responding before your conscious awareness fully understands what is happening. That is how powerful this alignment is. The next 24 hours are critical because this energy is not passive. It moves like a wave, and waves do not stop to ask whether someone feels prepared. They either carry you into a different reality or leave you standing exactly where you were before. And what makes this moment so dangerous to ignore is that it does not look dramatic on the outside. Most people will continue moving through their routines without recognizing that a major energetic threshold has opened. But for the people who are paying attention, the shift is impossible to miss. Something subtle but undeniable is rearranging itself underneath everyday life. The old instability is losing power. The frequency surrounding wealth is reorganizing itself. Taurus, the part of the zodiac connected to physical resources, income, possessions, and self-worth, is finally breathing without constant disruption pressing against it. That means what you build now has the potential to endure in a way it could not before. The cosmic pressure that kept interrupting progress has eased. The energetic earthquakes have stopped. And this Taurus New Moon becomes the first major lunar reset in this stabilized environment after 7 long years of upheaval. That is why this portal carries such immense significance. This is not random hope. This is an astrologically precise turning point. And while many people will ignore it because they cannot yet see what is changing beneath the surface, others are beginning to feel it inside their bodies already. A strange awareness, a growing emotional intensity, a sensation that something buried for years is trying to rise into consciousness. Pay attention to that feeling, because your physical body is reacting to this energetic reset before your mind fully understands it. And what happens next may explain why everything inside you has started shifting so suddenly. Something is happening inside your body right now, and if you dismiss it as stress or exhaustion, you may completely miss the deeper message trying to reach you. Pay attention to your throat. Really pay attention. Over the last few days, many people have been noticing an unusual sensation building there. A tightness, pressure, dryness, or the strange feeling that words are trapped beneath the surface, waiting for release. Some people feel like they need to say something important, but cannot fully access it. Others notice themselves swallowing repeatedly, clearing their throat, or feeling emotionally charged every time they try to speak about money, desire, or the future. This is not random, and spiritually, it is not insignificant. Astrologically, Taurus governs the throat, the neck, the thyroid, the vocal cords, and the entire energetic system connected to expression and embodiment. Taurus is not abstract energy. It rules the physical world, what can be spoken, touched, built, earned, and sustained. So when a new moon this powerful forms in Taurus, especially after the massive energetic shift caused by Uranus finally leaving this sign after 7 years, your throat chakra can become intensely activated. Your body begins reacting before your conscious mind fully understands why. What you are feeling is preparation. Your system is trying to move you toward expression. Because, despite what many people believe, this Taurus New Moon is not centered around silent wishing or passive visualization. The energetic blueprint of this alignment points toward vocal manifestation, toward using sound itself as a creative force. And that changes everything about how this portal is meant to be approached. Most people have been taught that manifestation happens quietly, through thoughts hidden inside the mind, through vision boards, journals, or silent meditations whispered into the dark. But the astrological symbolism connected to this exact new moon tells an entirely different story. The Sabian symbol for 26 degrees Taurus, the precise degree where this new moon lands, is a Spanish gallant serenades his beloved. That image is not decorative. It is instructional. It reveals the mechanism behind the energy. The gallant does not sit silently, hoping his beloved notices him. He uses his voice. He sings into the night. He creates vibration, rhythm, resonance. He projects emotion outward through sound until the atmosphere itself carries his intention forward, That is the deeper teaching hidden inside this new moon. Sound becomes the bridge between desire and physical reality. Frequency becomes magnetic. Your voice becomes the instrument through which intention enters the material world. And suddenly, that strange sensation in your throat begins to make sense. Your body has been preparing you to speak, to declare, to vocalize what you are finally ready to receive. This is why some people feel emotionally overwhelmed every time they try to say what they truly want. Because speaking desire out loud forces confrontation with everything inside them that doubts it is possible. The throat does not only hold expression, it also stores fear. Fear of judgment, fear of rejection, fear of disappointment, fear of being seen wanting more. And during this Taurus new moon, those internal blockages rise to the surface because the universe is trying to show you where your own voice has been suppressed. Wealth under this alignment is not drawn through desperation, overwork, or constant chasing. It is drawn through energetic congruence, through becoming so aligned with your intention that your words, emotions, body, and frequency begin transmitting the same message. You are not meant to whisper your future during this portal. You are meant to embody it so completely that your voice itself carries conviction strong enough to alter the atmosphere around you. That is why this moment feels so physically intense for some people. Their bodies know a threshold is approaching. But before this financial portal fully opens, another force arrives first, and this is the part almost nobody is talking about. Exactly 27 minutes before the peak of the Taurus New Moon, Mars collides with Chiron at 28 degrees Aries, and the emotional impact of this alignment is impossible to ignore once it begins unfolding inside you. Mars in Aries is pure instinct, raw fire, survival energy operating at maximum intensity, because Aries is its home sign. It amplifies anger, courage, desire, ambition, and the need to act immediately. But Chiron in Aries carries a completely different energy. It exposes the wound connected to identity, self-worth, confidence, and the painful belief that your existence itself is somehow not enough. When Mars and Chiron meet at this degree, moments before the money portal opens, they create a psychological confrontation that cuts straight through every defense mechanism you have built around your pain. Suddenly, old failures return to the surface. Moments where you felt overlooked. Times you accepted less than you deserved. Financial disappointments. Rejections. Embarrassment around money. Memories of trying, failing, and convincing yourself not to hope too much afterward. For some people, this energy may arrive as sudden anger that seems to come from nowhere. For others, it may feel like shame, grief, frustration, or emotional exhaustion they cannot explain. But none of this is emerging to punish you. It is surfacing because hidden unworthiness cannot enter a wealth portal unchanged. You cannot magnetize abundance while secretly believing you are unsafe having it. You cannot create financial expansion while unconsciously carrying the identity of someone who expects loss, rejection, or instability. And this Mars-Chiron conjunction forces those hidden wounds into visibility so they can finally be acknowledged instead of silently controlling your life from the shadows. That is why this alignment feels so emotionally raw. The universe is not simply opening a door to wealth. It is confronting the part of you that still believes you should remain outside that door. And until that wound is seen clearly, healed honestly, and released consciously, the same internal sabotage will continue repeating itself, no matter how badly you want your reality to change. What is happening right now may feel emotionally overwhelming, but you need to understand that this discomfort is not destruction, it is extraction. Something buried inside you is being forced to the surface because this alignment refuses to let hidden wounds continue controlling your future from behind the curtain. The collision between Mars and Chiron is acting like a blade cutting directly into the place where fear, shame, anger, and self-rejection have been stored for years. Yes, it hurts. Of course it hurts. But the pain has a purpose. This is the moment the wound is opened, so it can finally stop poisoning everything you try to build. And what makes this timing almost unbelievably precise is the fact that this confrontation occurs exactly 27 minutes before the Taurus New Moon reaches its peak. That detail changes the entire meaning of the experience. You are not being asked to drown in your pain for months. You are not meant to spiral backward into old identities or spend weeks trapped in emotional paralysis. The astrology of this moment is designed for transformation through immediacy. Feel the wound. Recognize it. Name it honestly. Then use it. That is the instruction hidden inside this alignment. The rage you feel over missed opportunities is not there to consume you, it is there to awaken your determination. The humiliation connected to past rejection is not there to weaken you, it is there to teach you how much of yourself you abandoned in order to be accepted. The fear that you will fail again is not appearing to stop you. It is appearing because your nervous system is standing at the edge of expansion and does not yet trust what is possible. This is the deeper purpose of the wealth reset. It is not only about attracting money, it is about repairing your relationship with your own ambition. For years, many people have secretly associated desire with danger. Wanting more felt selfish. Asking for more felt risky. Being visible felt unsafe. Pursuing success felt like an invitation for criticism, rejection, or disappointment. So people unconsciously learned to shrink their dreams before the world could reject them first. But Mars in Aries does not allow shrinking. It forces confrontation with the instinct to survive, conquer, move forward, and claim space unapologetically. And Chiron in Aries exposes exactly where you stop believing you had the right to do that. Together, these energies are demanding that you reclaim the part of yourself that stopped fighting for the life you truly wanted. You are being asked to remember that your ambition is not something shameful. Your hunger for abundance is not proof of greed. Your desire to experience stability, wealth, freedom, and expansion does not make you selfish. It makes you alive. And once you move through that narrow 27-minute corridor of emotional confrontation, something extraordinary begins happening. The heaviness starts lifting. The emotional static clears. The new moon energy becomes available like open land after a storm has passed. Clean, grounded, receptive, ready for the intentions that emerge from the version of you no longer hiding from their worth. But before that portal fully opens, many of you have already started noticing strange signals appearing around you, and deep down, you know they do not feel accidental anymore. The repeating numbers keep following you. Certain symbols appear again and again until they become impossible to dismiss. You glance at the clock and see 11:11. You notice repeating digits on receipts, addresses, timestamps, license plates, account balances, random conversations. And recently, the signs have become more connected to money itself. Discussions about finances seem to appear everywhere around you. Dollar amounts repeat unexpectedly. Certain numbers keep chasing your attention no matter where you go. This is not coincidence. When major energetic thresholds approach, reality begins communicating symbolically because your consciousness is becoming more sensitive to patterns it normally filters out. The energetic veil becomes thinner. Synchronicities increase. Signs begin clustering together in ways that feel too precise to ignore. And what is really happening beneath all of this is frequency realignment. Even before the Taurus New Moon reaches its exact peak, your energetic signature is already beginning to shift toward a different relationship with abundance. You are unconsciously tuning into a different energetic channel, one where opportunity becomes more visible, one where your awareness starts recognizing possibilities you previously overlooked. Suddenly, conversations feel loaded with meaning. Ideas that once felt unrealistic start feeling achievable. Financial pathways that seemed invisible begin revealing themselves piece by piece. This is the pre-portal activation. Your consciousness is stretching beyond old limitations and preparing itself to receive differently. And the more attention you give these synchronicities, the stronger they become, because awareness itself amplifies energetic connection. The universe responds when it sees someone noticing. It responds when someone stops dismissing intuition and starts trusting what they are sensing beneath the surface of ordinary reality. Some of you have even been seeing very specific amounts repeating over and over. Maybe it is 1333. Maybe it is 10,000. Maybe it is another number that seems strangely persistent without explanation. Do not ignore those patterns. They may carry clues connected to what your subconscious is already aligning toward under this new moon. But the deeper purpose of these signs is not only preparation. They are also testing your willingness to trust. The universe is observing whether you will keep reducing everything to coincidence, or whether you are finally ready to acknowledge that something meaningful is unfolding around you. Because when this portal fully opens, trust becomes essential. Doubt weakens manifestation under Taurus energy because Taurus governs embodiment, conviction, and grounded belief. You cannot speak abundance into existence while internally expecting disappointment. And that brings everything back to the throat, back to the pressure you have been feeling there, back to the urge to say something you have been avoiding. Because the astrological blueprint of this new moon is making one thing unmistakably clear. Your intentions cannot remain trapped inside your mind anymore. They cannot stay hidden as private hopes, silent fantasies, or words buried in a journal nobody hears. Under this Taurus alignment, manifestation requires sound. It requires declaration. The Sabian symbol reveals the method plainly. The gallant serenades. He uses his voice to move energy into the physical world. And in the next moment, you are going to understand why speaking your intention out loud may become the single most important action of this entire portal. The reason the Sabian symbol matters so deeply under this Taurus new moon is because the gallant does not remain silent with his desire. He understands something most people have forgotten, that sound itself is creative force. He uses his voice to send emotion into the physical atmosphere, to generate resonance powerful enough to bridge the invisible and the material worlds. And tonight, before midnight arrives, you are being asked to do exactly the same thing. Not quietly, not timidly, not with hesitation hidden beneath your words. You are being asked to speak your financial intentions aloud with certainty, strong enough to move through your entire body. Your voice must carry emotion. It must carry embodiment. It must carry the energetic signature of someone who is no longer begging reality for permission to receive abundance. Because under this Taurus new moon, manifestation is not passive wishing. It is physical declaration. This is why your throat has been activating so intensely. Your body already understands that your voice is part of the ritual. Every vibration created when you speak moves through physical space. Sound is not imaginary. It creates measurable waves that travel outward, affecting the environment around you. And spiritually, that matters more during this new moon than many people realize. When you speak an intention aloud, you are taking something invisible inside your mind and translating it into physical form through vibration. Thought becomes sound. Sound becomes resonance. Resonance begins shaping material reality. Taurus governs the tangible world, money, resources, possessions, embodiment, physical security. So during this alignment, the movement from internal thought into external sound becomes one of the primary energetic mechanisms through which manifestation operates. This is no longer about silently hoping the universe somehow senses what you want. This is about announcing it clearly enough that your entire energetic field reorganizes around what you are declaring. but the way you speak matters enormously. Most people sabotage this process without realizing it because they speak from longing instead of certainty. They say they want more money while their voice still carries fear, doubt, or emotional exhaustion. Under this Taurus energy, the emotional frequency behind your words is just as important as the words themselves. You cannot whisper abundance while emotionally expecting scarcity. The declaration must come from embodiment. You must speak as though the reality already exists. This is why the Japanese practice of yoshuku becomes so relevant under this new moon. Yoshuku is the art of pre-celebration, the act of emotionally inhabiting a desired reality before it physically arrives. Instead of asking for abundance, you speak from the identity of someone who already knows abundance belongs to them. Instead of begging for stability, you embody the emotional state of someone already anchored in security. Your voice becomes evidence of belief. Statements like, "I am deeply rooted in financial stability," "The earth supports me with limitless resources," "Wealth flows toward me in ways aligned with my values," are not wishes under this alignment. They are declarations of identity. They are energetic instructions sent directly into both your subconscious mind and the field around you. And this matters because your subconscious responds more intensely to your spoken voice than to silent thoughts. Your inner programming listens carefully to the tone, certainty, and emotional intensity behind your words. When you repeatedly speak something aloud with conviction, especially during an energetically charged moment like this Taurus New Moon, your deeper consciousness begins accepting that frequency as truth. Years of scarcity conditioning slowly begin losing their grip because your nervous system is being exposed to a new emotional reality. This is why the throat activation has been building. Your body has been preparing the instrument required for this portal long before your conscious mind understood what was happening. And before midnight tonight, you need to use that instrument intentionally. Find a place where your nervous system feels safe enough to open. It does not need to be perfect. It simply needs to feel grounded. Light a candle if your intuition pulls you toward ritual. Feel your feet pressing into the floor. Slow your breathing. Bring your awareness fully into your body instead of remaining trapped inside mental noise. Then begin speaking. Let the room hear your intentions. Let your own ears hear the certainty in your voice. Allow the vibrations of your words to move through the air around you and through the body carrying them. Because the more you speak from alignment, the more real your future begins feeling emotionally. Not because you are pretending, not because you are tricking yourself, but because your frequency is gradually calibrating toward the reality you are declaring. Abundance is not only a financial state under Taurus energy, it is an embodied frequency. And when your internal state begins matching the frequency of what you desire, magnetism naturally strengthens. But vocal declaration alone is not enough under this alignment. Taurus is a fixed earth sign, and earth energy always demands physical engagement with reality. That is why there are additional rituals connected to this portal that become critically important before midnight. These are not abstract spiritual exercises disconnected from the material world. They are tactile actions designed to anchor intention into physical form. Taurus responds through the senses, through touch, through objects, through tangible interaction with matter itself. And the first ritual centers around making wealth physically visible to both your subconscious and your environment. This is where the money bowl becomes significant. You are creating a material symbol of abundance that your nervous system can repeatedly interact with. The bowl itself matters. Choose something sturdy, grounded, and natural: ceramic, wood, brass, materials that carry the earth element. Taurus responds to so strongly. Inside this bowl, place physical money, real coins and bills, because Taurus energy requires tangible representation rather than vague symbolism. Then add botanical elements traditionally connected to prosperity and growth. bay leaves carrying written financial intentions, cinnamon connected to acceleration and energetic movement, basil aligned with abundance and expansion. And then come the crystals, which many people dismiss without understanding their symbolic role inside earth-based ritual work. Green aventurine connected to opportunity and luck, pyrite associated with magnetism and material attraction, citrine linked to manifestation and energetic amplification. These elements are not being used as decorations. They are functioning as physical anchors for the frequency you are cultivating during this portal. Once the bowl is assembled, place it somewhere meaningful within your environment, near the entrance of your home, on an altar, or in a space your eyes naturally return to every day, because the true purpose of the ritual is repetition. Taurus energy strengthens through consistency, physical interaction, and sustained embodiment over time. And what happens next will explain why this money bowl is only the beginning of a much larger energetic process unfolding underneath this new moon. What makes the money bowl so important under this Taurus new moon is that it is not meant to be a temporary gesture performed once and forgotten by morning. It becomes a living representation of your relationship with abundance itself. Every single day after tonight, you continue feeding it. A coin, a bill, a fresh bay leaf carrying a new intention, a written affirmation folded carefully into the bowl. Through these repeated actions, you are teaching both your subconscious mind and your nervous system that wealth is not something unstable or fleeting anymore. You are proving through physical repetition that you are capable of sustaining abundance over time instead of constantly expecting loss. This is exactly what Taurus energy demands. Consistency, patience, endurance, long-term cultivation instead of desperate chasing. And this is where most people misunderstand manifestation completely. They think abundance arrives through intensity alone, one emotional breakthrough, one dramatic ritual, one powerful affirmation. But Taurus does not trust chaos. Taurus trusts what is nurtured steadily, what is cared for repeatedly, what is reinforced through grounded physical action over time. That is why this ritual matters so much. You are not only building a symbolic treasury, you are training your body to stop expecting scarcity as its default reality. But the money bowl is only the first layer of this portal because Taurus governs far more than finances. It rules pleasure, sensuality, comfort, the ability to feel safe inside the body. And this next part is something many spiritual teachings completely fail to explain. Your nervous system cannot receive abundance while trapped in survival mode. If your body constantly feels unsafe, exhausted, anxious, hypervigilant, or emotionally deprived, then even when opportunities appear, your system may unconsciously reject them because it has been conditioned to expect struggle instead of support. This is why so many people sabotage prosperity without understanding why. Their minds say they want abundance, but their bodies are still operating from fear. Taurus energy exposes this disconnect immediately. Because under this new moon, wealth is not only financial. Wealth is the feeling of safety within your own existence. It is the ability to relax enough to receive. And that is why the second ritual becomes essential. Before midnight, you need to intentionally immerse yourself in sensory pleasure. Not distraction, not numbing, real embodied pleasure that reminds your nervous system what it feels like to exist without tension controlling every moment. Draw a bath filled with salts and oils if that calls to you. Rose, sandalwood, ylang-ylang, all connected to Venus, the planetary ruler of Taurus, carrying frequencies of beauty, softness, sensuality, and receptivity. Or prepare yourself a nourishing meal made with care and presence. Then allow yourself to eat slowly instead of rushing unconsciously through the experience. Or massage. Luxurious oils into your skin with deliberate attention, letting yourself fully feel every sensation instead of remaining mentally disconnected from your body. The specific activity matters less than the energetic state it creates, because the goal is to send a message directly into your subconscious that says, "We are safe now. We are supported now. We are worthy of receiving comfort, pleasure, beauty, and expansion." And while your body enters that softened state, that is when your spoken intentions become most powerful. Your voice carries a completely different frequency when it emerges from relaxation instead of desperation. This is the deeper meaning hidden inside the serenade symbolism. You are not crying out to the universe from emptiness. You are speaking from the emotional state of someone already aligned with abundance. And reality responds to that frequency differently. But then comes the final ritual, and this one may be the most important of all because it directly embodies the core lesson Taurus is trying to teach. The Earth Seed ritual is manifestation in its most literal form. You are going to place a real seed into real soil, because Taurus governs the wisdom of natural growth cycles. It understands that true abundance is rarely instant. It develops gradually, steadily, through patience and consistent nourishment. Take a small pot and fill it with rich soil. Choose seeds connected to prosperity and endurance, basil, jade, or another resilient, fast-growing plant. Before placing the seed into the earth, write your core financial intention on biodegradable paper. Be honest. Be direct. State exactly what you are calling into your reality. Perhaps it is $10,000 in new income by August. Perhaps it is a career opportunity bringing long-term financial stability. Whatever the intention is, place that written declaration at the bottom of the pot before covering it with soil and planting the seed above it. Then water it slowly while visualizing your intention, absorbing nourishment beneath the surface. This matters because your hands touching the earth physically grounds your energy into the material world. All the anxiety, mental noise, and emotional static circulating inside your mind begins moving downward into the stability of the earth element. And from that moment forward, the plant becomes more than a plant. It becomes a mirror, reflecting your manifestation process back to you every day. You must care for it consistently. Water it. Observe it. Watch how growth unfolds gradually rather than instantly. Through this, Taurus teaches patience without hopelessness, commitment without force, trust without desperation. Real abundance grows through rhythm, attention, and sustained care. That is the philosophy hidden underneath this entire portal. These three rituals, the money bowl, the sensory embodiment, and the earth seed, are not random spiritual performances. They are energetic mechanisms designed specifically for the frequency of this Taurus new moon. Together they create alignment between your body, your voice, your nervous system, your physical environment, and your intentions. And when all those layers align before midnight, manifestation stops feeling abstract. You begin actively constructing the conditions required for abundance to take physical form. But what happens after tonight may surprise you even more, because the portal does not simply vanish when midnight passes. Something entirely new begins the moment the energy shifts into the next phase. The morning of May 17th arrives, and although the Taurus new moon has technically peaked, the astrological sequence reveals that the momentum actually intensifies. The moon moves into Gemini. Mercury enters Gemini as well, its home sign where communication, commerce, ideas, movement, and rapid transactions become amplified dramatically. Then, Mercury collides with Uranus, the planet of sudden breakthroughs, unexpected opportunities, and radical insight. This changes the speed of manifestation completely. The grounded intentions planted in Taurus soil suddenly gain acceleration. What began as slow, stable foundation building now opens into rapid movement, communication, and surprising developments. The universe responds, almost as if saying, "You completed the grounding work, now prepare for motion." And this is why the days immediately following the new moon become critically important. Unexpected emails may arrive. Strange opportunities may appear suddenly. A conversation may redirect your future. A brilliant idea connected to income or career may emerge seemingly out of nowhere. These are not random events disconnected from the rituals. They are the first visible movements created by the portal you opened. But Gemini energy requires responsiveness. Unlike Taurus, it moves quickly. It rewards awareness, adaptability, communication, and immediate action. So while May 16th centers around grounding, embodiment, and planting, the days between May 17th and May 20th demand alertness and flexibility. The opportunities connected to your intentions may arrive through messages, social interaction, technology, sudden insights, or fast-moving intellectual opportunities. That is the brilliance of this astrological sequence. Taurus creates the stable foundation. Gemini accelerates manifestation into motion. And if you truly aligned with this portal, the results may begin appearing much faster than expected. When they do, you will understand something important. The wealth reset was never symbolic. It was an actual energetic turning point, changing the direction of your financial reality from this moment forward. The mechanics of the portal are already in motion. The energetic architecture has already shifted. The only remaining question is whether you are truly prepared to walk into the reality that has been trying to reach you all along.